What is your degree of confidence that they can actually figure out this appropriations process before we're halfway through the fiscal year?
Well, I don't know that they're going to figure everything out before March 1 or March 8, but I think what we have seen now is repeatedly that on a bipartisan, bicameral basis, Congress is not interested in a government shutdown. So even if they can't finish their work by the 1st or the 8th, I think what we know is we will get another sort of additional short-term lease on life while they continue to work it out. And Congressman Hill kind of really hit the nail on the head, I think, in terms of the outstanding issues. It's not so much the funding levels. The funding levels have been agreed to and re-agreed to and re-agreed to. The issue now is, what are the policy riders that are going to be attached to this exercise? And having been through several dozen budget negotiations, there are at least a dozen, maybe more, policy fights that have yet to be litigated. And those were avowedly not decided as a part of the overall funding level. So there's still some bumps in the road, but I'm getting more and more bullish that no shutdown is in our future, even if they can't quite finish their work by the first week of March.
Pretty remarkable when you look at the no votes here, Rohit. The conference chair, Elise Stefanik, other members of the leadership, 8 chairs, committee chairs, including the budget chair, Jody Arrington. Even the chair of the admin committee, Brian Stile, voted no. This is not MAGA we're talking about here. These are in many cases mainstream Republicans in the House, and in the case of Stefanik, part of Mike Johnson's team. What does that tell you about the chances of ever seeing a real budget with this Republican conference?
Well, look, at the end of the day, the way that this passed the House last night is the way that bills are going to get signed into law, which is it's going to be something that is bipartisan, down the middle, that unites the middle of the two conferences in both the House and the Senate. And, you know, although it was by the hair of his chinny chin chin, he did get a majority of House Republicans of those voting. There were 7 absences, and we don't know how those people would have voted, but there were more Republicans voting for the agreement than not voting for the agreement last night. And, you know, this is sort of harkens back to what we used to refer to as the old Hastert rule, getting a majority of the majority, which is not getting all of the majority, to be clear, even though some have misinterpreted it that way. But getting more than half your conference to vote for something is generally where you want to be as speaker, and he got there last night.
All right, so this was able to pass the full House last night. I also want to get your take, Rohit, on something that was just passed out of the House Ways and Means Committee today, this tax deal that would extend tax breaks for businesses and expand the child tax credit. I actually caught up with the chair of that committee, Jason Smith, the Republican from Missouri, earlier this week ahead of today's markup, and this is how our conversation went. Just take a listen, if you will.
We will have this bill marked up on Friday from the Ways and Means Committee, and hopefully it will be on the floor in no time at all.
Should we expect any changes at that markup, and what might they be?
We have the agreement. Of course, once you came out with the agreement, you have every individual that's asking for their tax provision to be included, and that's exactly what would cause the bill to die.
So Rohit obviously made it out of markup with not all the changes that probably everyone wanted. Will this bill die anyway? Do you think it will have enough support?
I'm actually cautiously optimistic. Look, I mean, this has been going on for 2+ years. Some of these provisions expired in the beginning of 2022. This is perhaps the most significant week in this 2+ year journey. Not only did you have a bipartisan bicameral agreement between the 2 tax committee chairs, but then you got a 40-3 vote out of the House Ways and Means Committee. And this is not a committee where 40 members generally agree on the direction of tax policy. So that level of bipartisan agreement is, you know, kudos to Chairman Smith and Chairman Wyden. They seem to have really stuck the landing here in terms of middle of the road. Kate was talking on the earlier segment. You know, there's a little bit of this that everyone's unhappy about, but that's what bipartisanship and compromise looks like.
With that said, could we be in a world where this tax deal becomes law, but we still can't make a budget?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. These are 2 entirely separate transactions. This tax deal, you know, net is a sort of basically revenue neutral. I think it's like $250 million added to the deficit over the next 10 years, which is the federal government will probably spend $250 million while we're having this conversation. So that's rounding error for the U.S. government. That's, you know, a quite different sort of situation than the budget. This thing is actually starts in a much better, more bipartisan location. The House is out of session next week. But I think there's some reason to believe that the House might take this up the week of January 29th when they come back again on the suspension calendar requiring a 2/3 vote. But again, this is something that got 40 votes out of the House Ways and Means Committee. Every expectation it'll be bipartisan and that it could clear the full House, even if it's subject to a 2/3 requirement.
Well, Rohit, obviously the 29th also marks the beginning of tax season. If it can't be passed by the beginning, how does this complicate the actual matter of filing taxes this year? How much does timing need to be a consideration here?
So they added something after the initial agreement was released, before they marked up the bill today, that actually addresses that issue. So part of the compromise here is to expand the child tax credit for calendar year 2023, which means it's going to be reflected on returns that are going to be filed, starting, end of this month and into February in March. And they put in a provision that gives the IRS the authority, if someone files their return before the law is changed, and then the law is subsequently enacted and a more generous child tax credit occurs, gives the IRS the authority to sort of adjust the return to reflect the higher credit available, essentially buying themselves some wiggle room, because there is no, given that the House is out of session next week, there's just no way this thing becomes law before January 29th. And really what I've been hearing from people who are closer to the service and the way that they process these returns, sort of mid-February is when the sort of refundable credits start really getting attention and process. So, until February 14th, February 15th, this would be a great Valentine's Day gift, I suppose. They've got some wiggle room. And even after that, they've got a little bit of running room. I don't know that there's a magic date beyond which it gets too late to do it. And even if they did it much later in the year, people could always amend their return and get the additional benefit if they were so inclined.